All right, so in Unit 3.3, we did slope in the first quadrant. Now we're going to do it in the coordinate plane. We're also going to learn what an intercept is. So start with find the slope of both these rays. Right, the slope is the rise over the run. So you find your good intersections. You go straight down from a higher one and then straight over to a lower one. The rise here is 1. The run is 1, 2, 3, 4. And so the slope of that one is 1/4. Right, and notice I found 3 good intersections, and then I could pick any 2 of those to find my slope. Find the slope of the other one. So there are good intersections. That's our first step. Pick any 2. You go straight down and then over to the next. This is going to be a landing ramp. So what's the rise here? The rise is not 2. You're going down 2. The run is always a positive number. The run there is 3. So the slope of this one is negative 2/3. We're going down 2 and over 3. Now, we're going to do lines today. So lines will have arrows on both ends. Okay? So let's look at these pictures. But the one at the bottom is still, when we do this for a line, is still going to be a positive slope. This is what going up looks like, because you go up, you read it from left to right. The run is from left to right. And this one, the top one there, is still, even with an arrow on both ends, is still going to be a negative slope, because you read this from left to right and it's going down from left to right. So we're going to do the same thing we did yesterday, but in the coordinate plane. Oh, I had a little glitch here. This is the slope of line AB, so there's arrows on the ends here. So I've given you the good intersections, right? You're going to pick any 2 of those, right? So you can go, and then you're going to go straight down and straight over. You could do it there, or you could do it here, right? There's our ramp. The rise here is 1, 2 boxes. The run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so the slope of that is 2/5. Okay, now, if you did it, right, from B all the way over to A and skipped the one in the middle at 0, 0, right, you would get 4/10. But 4/10 has to be simplified to 2/5. So the slope of this line is positive 2/5 because the rise here is a positive 2 anywhere along that line. And it's a line because it has arrows on both ends. All right, so let's go and pick good intersections along here. Now remember, you want a whole bunch of them so you can see the pattern, right? The boxes are smaller today, and so it's harder to tell. So I think there's one there, and one there, and one there. There's one in 0, 0. Right? And so there are good intersections. I know they're correct because they came out in a pattern. Right? So we can go anywhere along there. The rise here is 1. The run is 3. I want you to do it in a whole bunch of different places. Right? If I missed an intersection, I would get 2, 6, but that would still simplify to 1/3. Right? And so all these different places, you get the same slope, 1/3. So please always get more than 2 intersections unless there are only 2 good intersections along the line. All right, so this has a negative slope, right? And you can, if you need to erase that arrow on the left, that arrow is just there on the line. But from left to right, so here's left to right, right? So that's left to right. So that's what positive looks like. That's what negative looks like in slope. You never go the other way. So it doesn't matter about an arrow on this end. So this is a negative slope. And you'll know that when you draw your triangles, because when you go down, you don't get jump ramps, right? You get landing ramps. They're facing the wrong way or the other way. Okay, so the rise here is -3. We're going down 3. The run is always a positive number. And the slope here of this line is -3/2. Now again, if you don't have the sketch, you make the printout, you make your own sketch, right? This is at 0, 0. We have at 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. We have another one at 4, -6, 1, 4, -6, and you use your straight edge, and you draw a line like that, and you show your slope like that. And that didn't take me all that long. Oops, I didn't realize I had something over there. I do. And so now we're going to find the slope of this one. All right, now I found those intersections. Now this is at 5, so right, so you might think that 9 is a good intersection. It's really close, but since it was at 0 and 5, it must be 0, 5, or 0, -5 and 10, right? So that's the pattern. Okay, so we're going down and then over. And this is down 1 and over 5. So the slope here is -1/5. The rise is -1. The run is always a positive number. So it's -1/5. Both of these are going down. Okay, so there are 3 lines there. 2 are horizontal. The 2 horizontal ones have a slope of 0. Find the slope of all of them. Well, line GH here, right? It never rises. It never goes up. Its rise is 0. You can make its run 1. You can make its run 20, which is all the way from -10 to +10. But no matter what, the slope is 0. It's horizontal. JK is the same, right? It's a slope of 0. Now, LM, there's a good intersection at each end. There is no other good intersection. So what's the slope of that? Well, the rise is 1. It goes up 1 box. And then the run is 20. From -10 to +10 is 20. So the slope of that is 120. That's the slowest, the lowest, not slowest, the lowest slope that I can make that's not 0. And that's above 0, but not 0. Right, is 1/20th with this grid pattern. One of those is vertical and does not have a slope. Right, so let's understand horizontal and vertical. The floor is horizontal, it's flat, it has a slope of 0. The wall is vertical. It does not have a slope. It is undefined. All right, so PQ there, right, has a rise of whatever you want to make it. Well, let's make it 20, but a run of 0, and that's never allowed, so the slope is undefined. RS here, right, there's only 2 good intersections. So line RS, right, has a rise of 20 and a run of 1. So it has a slope of 20. That's the biggest slope I can make on this grid system. Okay. Okay, so we've learned slope. Now we're going to learn intercepts. This is our line in number 8, and I want you to find where that line crosses the y-axis. So here's the y-axis, and what point, this is not a fraction, this is a point. Where does that point cross the y-axis? Well, it crosses right there, and we say the y-intercept is 0, -2. Now this word intercept is just like the word in football for an interception, right? And an interception in American football, right? The defender crosses in front of the receiver and steals the ball. They intercept it. But the key is that it crosses in front. This line is crossing in front of the y-axis, and where it crosses, where the 2 cross, is called the y-intercept. So that's the y-intercept. Now find the x-intercept, right? That's where our line crosses the x-axis. So where's that? Well, it's right there. And so the x-intercept is 5, 0. So let me write that. So every x-intercept will end in a 0 because they're always along the x-axis. And every y-intercept will start with a 0. All right, and you are to write them. Sometimes you have a teacher who doesn't make you write these zeros in. You have to write them in this class. If you do it, you tell me an intercept without the 0, then you get it wrong in this class, period. Be warned. Okay, so what are the x and y intercepts? So if you're at home without drawing, you're going to make a little sketch, right? And you're going to show me the intercepts. Right? So the y-intercept this time is 0, 4. It starts with 0. And the x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. It's going to end in 0 every time. That's an x-intercept. And so when we're doing lines, we're going to be finding 3 pieces of information, and this is what you're doing in your homework. You're going to find the slope. I didn't ask you here. But the slope here is negative 2/3. You would find the slope, right? And then you find the 2 intercepts. Here, the slope, there's a good intersection. The slope was 2/5. So the slope was 2/5. And then we have the 2, which are fractions, and the intercepts, which are points where it crosses the x and y axis. All right, practice. So it says find the slope and intercepts of each line. All right, so first we're going to need some good intersections. Well, the intercepts are going to be good intersections, but they're also, let me use different colors. So I did the intercepts in red, right? And here's some other points along this line, right? So we go down and over to do our slope, right? We can do it anywhere. Rise is 1, run is 2. The slope of this line is 1/2. The intercepts are these points. This y-intercept, and please, oh, and you cannot abbreviate this y, right? Because that's x. The x is 0 here. Y is 2. When you put just x, that means x coordinate. When you put just y, it's y coordinate. So no abbreviating here. All right, y-intercept is what that's called, and spell it correctly. And then over here, this is the x-intercept. And that is what? Negative 4, 0. Every x-intercept will end in a 0. All right, try that one, all 3 things. So there are intercepts, but we need other good intersections. There's one, right? And with these small boxes, you want to make sure you know what pattern is going on there. All right, so now if you wrote that the slope here was 2, you got it wrong, right? Because the rise here is negative 2. This is going down. You read these as if you read a book from left to right. So this one was going up, and this one was going down. And on the test, forgetting that that rise is negative will be one of the major mistakes. So the slope here is negative 2. Then the intercepts are, there's the x-intercept is negative 3, 0. And the y-intercept is 0, negative 6. Final question. All right, so remember in the last lesson we had a slope of 1. And at a slope of 1, every intersection was good. Same thing here. Every intersection is good, but this is not a slope of 1. What is it? It is a slope of negative 1. Notice it goes right down the middle, connecting the corners. Every intersection is good. You'll see that one a bunch. Now, what are the intercepts? That's interesting. Well, it crosses the y-axis right there. It crosses the x-axis in the exact same spot. So both the x-intercept and the y-intercept are the same point. And what point is that? That point is 0, 0. And also known as the origin, where this coordinate plane starts. Good luck on your homework.